Oh my good people, we have such a good video today because today we get to talk about Doctor Strange and how critics are complete idiots. So let's get started. Now, believe it or not, this wasn't the first attempt to get Doctor Strange on the big screen. In fact, it's been a very long road for Steven to get here. The film was first listed in pre-production in 1986, with Bob Gale at the helm, who was the producer and writer for a lot of Robert Zemeckis films, such as Used Cars and the Back to the Future franchise. However, the project went nowhere. Then, through the 90s, the film went through Regency, Warner Brothers, Savoy Pictures, and Columbia Pictures. Throughout the decade, such names as David S. Goyer and Wes Craven were attached to the project. Oh no, you heard me right. We could have had a Wes Craven directed Doctor Strange, but it never happened. Am I the only one who's extremely upset about this? Over the next 14 years, the film went nowhere fast. It was picked up by Dimension, Miramax, and so on and so forth, until it ended up in the hands of Marvel Studios, which have been focusing on producing their products completely independently. And in 2005, they received the rights to produce their own Doctor Strange film as a part of a $525 million 10-film agreement with Paramount. And although there was no progress within the next 5 years, in 2009, Disney bought out Marvel Entertainment for $4 billion, signifying a new stage of Marvel films, where production companies wanted to focus on the lesser-known films in the Marvel franchise. And that led to the success of such films as Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. And after a large amount of speculation, the first official decision was made in 2014 when Scott Derrickson was brought on as the director, whose only somewhat decent project has been Sinister. By the end of the year, Benedict Cumberbatch went out the leading role over such names as Jake Gyllenhaal, Ethan Hawke, and Matthew McConaughey. Now, although I definitely think they could have gotten a better director than Derrickson, something along the lines of an Aronofsky or Del Toro or maybe even a Gilliam would have tickled my fancies. From the moment I saw Cumberbatch get cast as the Doctor, I was 100% on board. However, I was in the minority as there was a large backlash from critics and fans alike for this casting. But that's not the main reason that I'm calling critics idiots, because we'll get into that a bit later. Actually, we're gonna get into that right now. We're just going to fast forward a couple of years to April of 2016, when the first teaser trailer was released and movie outlets started giving their opinions on how they thought the film would fare. And the most common thing that I heard during this time period was, it's an unsure entity, or it could potentially flop, catalyzing the downfall of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And finally, the most common one, it's too weird. Now, before I say this, I have to state that I don't know everything about movies. I thought that Suicide Squad was going to be good, so obviously I don't know everything. Also, there's a reason why critics are critics and I'm just some random dude on the internet. They've gotten the following that they have and are paid for their job for a reason. And also, to get my bias out of the way, I'm not really a comic book fan and superhero films have never been my cup of tea. Now, that being said, are you kidding me? This is the film you're worried about flopping. Not Ant-Man, which was as generic and formulaic a Marvel film as you could possibly get, even though it was, albeit decent. Not Avengers, Couple of Weeks of Ultron, which was, in my opinion, an actually bad film. But Doctor Strange Before I get too angry, I have to explain to you guys why I knew Doctor Strange wouldn't flop. It's something that I thought critics would have caught on to within the first couple of months, yet I still saw a lot of them doubting it. Even though I've used it a lot in my previous videos, and I'm pretty sure I'll be using it a lot in my future videos, it's essential for me to describe the term superhero fatigue. As I'm sure most, if not all of you know, the most popular genre in film right now is the one of the superhero, which is proved by almost half of the top 10 grossing films of this year falling under the category. And although Deadpool provided a much needed spark to the genre early this year, And Civil War was actually good. It's becoming more and more apparent that the general public is starting to get sick and tired of by-the-book superhero films that had absolutely nothing and instead just rehash tropes that we have seen over and over again. So as I said previously, from the time that the hype started building, I was extremely confident that Doctor Strange would be pretty friggin' successful. And based on a combination of three things, the 90% it has on Rotten Tomatoes right now based off of over 50 critic reviews, the fact that it made a lot of money, 87.7 million, in 33 local markets on its opening weekend, and the fact that IndieWire has called it the best Marvel film since The Avengers, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I'm right. But now it's time to get to the main question of the video. Why did I know that Doctor Strange was going to be successful despite all of the critics doubting it? And in all reality, it comes down to three simple words. It is different. Doctor Strange is the first film that has incorporated a completely new aspect into the Marvel Universe, magic. It's also the first Marvel film, in my personal opinion since Guardians of the Galaxy, to not rely on either the hype of the character's name, because everyone will go see a film that has Iron Man in the title, or the gimmick of the hero itself, because everyone wants to see a mini superhero. Although Guardians of the Galaxy did have some gimmicks going for it, such as a talking raccoon, it didn't rely on that. Instead, it provided some of the wittiest dialogue to be seen in a Marvel film, as well as some pretty interesting characters. In regards to Doctor Strange, it was very apparent that they were not relying on character recognition, but on a visual style which had never been seen in the superhero genre. And even though it does mirror a very similar style to Inception and The Matrix, it is something that has never been seen in the genre. But what baffles me the most is how critics didn't see that Doctor Strange would be an inevitable success. I mean, if you have a stale genre, and then there's a project release that brings something new to the genre, fans will naturally gravitate towards it because they are the ones who want something new. It is literally common sense. So since the main question of the video has finally been answered, I want to go on to talk a little bit about how this film will affect Marvel and just the superhero genre in general. So this is the second time this year that Marvel has come out with a very different project. Now to be fair, Deadpool has a lot of hype behind it, but I'm pretty sure nobody predicted it to be the third largest grossing film of the year. And if early signs are any indications, Doctor Strange is for sure going to be raking in some cash. Now the question is, what direction are superhero films going to take now that films that go out of their way to differ have been proven successes? Well, in all honesty, I think we're about to witness a new wave of superhero films trying to be different. The perfect example is Logan, whose first trailer was just released a little bit ago. Logan looks to be taking a more somber tone without making it super gritty, like DC has been attempting, and ultimately failing. It is a very Last of Us type feel, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just like Doctor Strange, it seems to be completely unreliant on the name recognition and more focused on the development of characters and atmosphere, which once again makes it different. So will Hollywood finally take the hint and follow in the footsteps of some of its predecessors, ushering us into a new age of different and interesting superhero films? Well, if Doctor Strange is any indication of what's to come in the future, I think I like the odds. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed my insight on Doctor Strange and the superhero genre in general. That's really hard to do, by the way. Genre, general, If you liked the video, leave one on it, and if you're not already subscribed, you should do that immediately. Also leave a comment in the section down below telling me where you think the superhero genre will be going. And the next video I should have up should be either a review of Hacksaw Ridge or Doctor Strange, one or the other. You'll figure it out when it's uploaded. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and don't forget to let your mind run free in your own imaginarium.